what happens after the damage is already done. What I want to talk about today is something different because the reality is protecting your business from ransomware isn't about reacting quickly. It's about building the right habits and the right systems ahead of time. And when you do that, well, a lot of these threats never really get the chance to become real problems. So today, I'm going to walk you through a practical, proactive approach, 5 simple steps that you can take to strengthen your environment and stay ahead of ransomware before it ever disrupts your business. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Kinnett. I'm the CEO and founder of Eternal Networks. And here at Eternal Networks, we believe in empowering people and businesses to succeed with the knowledge that they need. So every Friday around 1 p.m. Pacific time, I go live on all of our socials to discuss different topics around cybersecurity and technology to help empower others. At Eternal Networks, we are dedicated to creating safe and secure environments for businesses and people to thrive in doing what they love. And helping to educate others on technology, especially around cybersecurity, is a key part of our mission. At the end of the live stream, I'll answer questions from the audience. So if you have any, throw them in the comments of the chat at any point, and I'll get to them at the end. All that introductions aside, let's get on with today's topic. Ransomware, right? This is a big, scary word. And ransomware continues to work because it targets the easiest path in, not necessarily the most sophisticated one. Attackers are looking for several things. They're looking for outdated systems. They're looking for weak or unused or exposed passwords, untrained employees, and they're also relying on a lack of visibility across your network. If any one of those is exposed, it creates an opening. And if you've got multiple ones exposed, it makes it even easier. And most businesses have at least one of them open and exposed without realizing it. That's why prevention has to be layered. There's not a single tool or a single approach that's going to solve this. It's just like any security system, right? It's about building a system that works together. So let's go over the 5 steps that you can take to help protect yourselves against ransomware. And it all starts with the first step of strengthening your first line of defense. And this is the basics, right? Make sure you have multi-factor authentication enabled wherever you can, especially across all critical systems, right? We're talking email accounts, we're talking any remote access, firewalls, any admin tools, etc. Right? You want to have MFA wherever you can enabled to prevent and limit that access. You need to have strong password policies in place. No more, let me in as your password. Let me in 1, let me in 2, right? None of that, right? We have to have strong, regular, long passwords. You also have to have regular patching and updates. This is, now, when I say regularly, I'm not talking like monthly. I'm not talking about quarterly. I'm talking about consistent updates happening. When an application releases an update to patch a flaw, it needs to be installed as quickly as possible. These basic steps can stop a huge percentage of attacks before they even get started. All right, the next step is training your team to spot threats early. Your team, it can either be your biggest risk. I've talked about this before. Many studies have said 85 to 95% of breaches all start with a user, right? With them responding or reacting to something. So they can be your biggest risk. That's true. They can also be your strongest defense. Most ransomware attacks begin with phishing emails. That means that awareness matters. That's a critical step. So you need to focus on teaching employees how to recognize suspicious emails. And it's not as easy as it was 2 years ago of saying, well, look for grammar, look for things that are a little bit off, right? We're seeing significant amounts of DocuSign phishing, where it actually comes from DocuSign. And if they click on it and go into it, then it gets them access, the criminals access. So they're getting a lot more sophisticated in their attacks. There's less grammar errors. There's less big red flags. So it's important you teach your team how to recognize those. You should be running simulated phishing tests. We recommend running these at least quarterly. This is to test and see if your training is actually sticking, right? Are they falling for those type of things, or will they detect them? And all of this leads to creating a culture, right, where people feel comfortable reporting something unusual, right? You want them, if they see something, they're going to say something, right? They can raise a red flag, and they're not going to be criticized if it's wrong. When your team knows what to look for, you close off one of the most common entry points or greatly reduce it. All right, next step. This is a critical one, right? Securing your endpoints and your network. Every device connected to your network is a potential doorway. You know, that camera that you bought on Amazon that's you put up over your entryway, your computer, any network device, your servers, your firewall, right? All of these are potential doorways into your network and into your data. So you want visibility and control across all of them. That means that you have proper endpoint security on your computers and on your servers, right? Endpoint detection and response, EDR. You need to make sure that you're monitoring your network and your systems. Know what's on your network, what's communicating, where it's communicating with, right? If something all of a sudden starts sending information to China or Russia or various other places around the world, you probably want to know about it. In fact, you probably want to block it from ever having access in the first place. But you need to monitor and see what's going on. You also need to limit user access to only what's necessary for them to do their job. And I highly recommend, as part of this, that you implement an application whitelisting protocol so that they can only run the programs that are already trusted. If something unusual happens, you want to catch it immediately. And that only happens if you're monitoring, right? You don't want to wait until the damage is done. All right, step 4. This is the one you were probably expecting to be step 1, backup. Yes, backup is a critical piece of this, right? You need to back up everything, and you need to back it up the right way. Backups are your safety net if they're done correctly. A proper backup strategy needs to include several things, right? It needs to include regular, automated backups. Now, regular could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And your business, regular might mean every 15 minutes. To another, it might mean once an hour. To another, it might be once a day, right? You have to look at how much data is going to change and how critical is that data. Some of the law firms that we manage, right, they don't want to lose anything. So we're backing it up every 15 minutes. So they're only going to lose 15 minutes worth of work if something does happen. It's important that your backup includes an offsite or cloud storage component. And that offsite or cloud storage must be immutable, meaning that it can't be modified or deleted if an on-site system is breached, right? That needs to be offline, disconnected in a way that nothing can happen to it so that you know you can recover from it. It's also important that you test your backups. Don't just assume that because the backup says it ran, that your data is actually good, right? Those backups need to be checked regularly to make sure that they're functioning and that you can restore from them as expected. Because in a worst case scenario, that's what allows you to recover without paying a ransom. Even if everything else works and something slips through and you detect it and within 5 minutes you got it shut down, right? There's still a chance that there's some files that you're going to have to recover from backup just to be safe. So that's an important part. And then the final step here, that's that it's important to have a response plan. Even with strong defenses, you need a plan. If something does happen, the worst time to figure it out is in the moment, right? You don't want a firefighter showing up to your house trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do to put the fire out when the fire's already there, right? Because minutes matter. You want them fully trained and ready and prepared with a plan ahead of time of what's going to take place. And that's the same for incident response, right? You need to have a response plan that covers who to contact immediately. You know, do you have cyber insurance that you need to get involved? Do you have a lawyer that you need to get involved, right? We need to make sure we're doing things properly to make sure that you know your insurance is going to pay out if it gets that far. Your plan needs to include how to isolate affected systems, and hopefully your EDR and your other tools have automated processes in place to do this, right? To isolate when something is detected. But you need to have that part of your plan. You need to have a plan on how you're going to communicate with your team, with your clients, with your vendors, right? With those that you're working with, so that they know what's going on. And then your plan also obviously needs to include how to begin recovery quickly. Preparation turns a potential disaster into a manageable situation. And ransomware, right? It's not going away because it does work, right? The criminals have found that it works, and they're going to keep using it until it no longer works. And it does work for many organizations that lack these protections. But the good news is it's not unstoppable. When you combine these 5 steps, you dramatically reduce your risk and you put your business in a much stronger position. What I'm talking about here, this is not about fear, right? This is about being proactive, prepared, and in control of your environment and your future. And if you're not sure where your business stands right now, that's fine, right? Not everybody does. Many companies don't have full visibility into their security posture, right? They trust that whatever they have in place is working. And maybe it was a few years ago, right? But things change. Things change rapidly at times with technology and with security. So, it may be time to take a closer look. And that's exactly where we come in. At Eternal Networks, we help businesses put these protections and others in place in a way that fits how they operate, right? Without overcomplicating things. I've been working with small businesses like my own for over 16 years, and I love talking tech, talking business, and finding solutions to business problems through technology. So feel free to direct message me. I'm going to post a link here real quick. So there's a link in the comments. Emily's out today. She normally helps with all this. She's amazing. Definitely miss her. I don't see how I can post it on the screen. So just look in the comments if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one with me, or you can direct message me. I really enjoy talking tech, strategy, and business with other business leaders. So if you have anything, reach out to me for sure. Let's see, questions. I don't know if there's any questions. I haven't seen any questions posted from the audience. So if you have any questions and I didn't cover them, throw them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thanks for your time today. If you found this information helpful, please give a thumbs up, right? Let us know. If you're on Facebook, give it a like, right? If you're on YouTube, leave a comment, like whatever, right? Any feedback is appreciated. We also, if you've got topics that you'd like us to cover, if you've got questions or things that you'd like us to dig deeper into and present, let us know, right? We want to create content that's valuable to you. Don't forget, you can also subscribe to our channel by hitting the subscribe bell notification icon. It's a little different on each platform. That way you'll get those updates when we post additional stuff. Or you can just check back every Friday at 1 o'clock and we'll be live. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to help you to navigate the world of technology and cybersecurity in your business. If you need any assistance, as I said, you can always send me a direct message, or all of our contact information is on our website. You can get there by going to itnet.works. Thank you for your time. Hope you have a wonderful weekend.